What's going on, everybody? It is your boy French here, and welcome back to the French-Hoock Connection. With me is my co-host, Andrew Hook.
What's up, guys?
Guys, today we are going to be talking about our projections for the 2022 MLB awards. We don't have all the awards on the list. Like, we're not going to sit down and do every position for the Silver Slugger for both leagues. That would be an hour on its own. We're going to try and get a 40-minute cast out for you guys. The categories we have are Rookie of the Year, Comeback Player of the Year, Reliever of the Year, Hank Aaron Award, Cy Young MVP, and then the World Series pick. So those are the categories. We have a lot to talk about. Let's get started. So for Rookie of the Year, let's start with the AL. Personally, I have Julio Rodriguez.
Wow. Okay. Why is that?
You have
Adley Rockman. Adley Rockman.
Adley Rockman. Wow.
Yeah. Former first overall pick.
Yeah.
Just saying. Yeah. He's supposed to be comparable to Buster Posey.
Yeah.
That's why I'm wearing the Orioles hat, baby. Yeah.
Yeah. No, Adley Rockman is definitely, I could definitely see that happening. Personally, I don't know if it's going to happen, though, just because the Orioles are so bad. Like, all right. So
they won't get TV ratings.
No, let me talk about why I picked Julio Rodriguez. He is the number 3 prospect in baseball. I think Rutschman is number 2, right?
Yeah, and then Witt's number 1.
And then Bobby Witt Jr. is number 1. I picked Julio Rodriguez because he has a protected lineup. The Mariners are actually might be good. They got Jesse Winker. They got Eugenio Suarez. They already have Kyle Lewis. They got some nasty pitchers. Who else did they grab there?
They grabbed Robbie Ray.
Right. Well, yeah, they grabbed Robbie Ray for the pitching staff. I thought they grabbed one more infielder. Was it Adam Frazier?
No, he went somewhere else, I think. I'm pretty sure. No, you're right. He went to Seattle.
Yeah, they got Adam Frazier too. So, I mean, Julio Rodriguez, young star. The dude in 2021 hit 347 with 14 home runs, 47 RBIs, and stole 21 bases. And that wasn't that many games. I think that was only like 70 games or something like that.
Right.
Plus, he plays elite defense. That's why I picked Julio. Why did you go with Adley Rutschman other than he's the next Buster Posey?
I just think that, given the fact that this is the guy that they exactly need on their team right now, for a guy that's like a pretty young prospect. I think he's like only 20 years old, if I'm not mistaken. He's great young catch. Yeah. Like I said, he's comparable to Buster Posey in many ways. So, like, for instance, his defense is nothing short of amazing, and so is hitting as well. I'm not going to say like he's going to hit as much extra bases as Posey was in his prime, but I feel like the potential is definitely there.
One thing I like about Adley too that I'll add to your piece of the argument is that he's also a switch hitter.
Yes,
and that's definitely way more enticing to go for Rookie of the Year. I could definitely see that happening.
Yeah,
for me, it was between Julio Rodriguez and Adley Rutschman. I do want to make that clear. Mm-hmm. While Bobby Witt is a good player, I don't think he's going to have a strong rookie year. I think he's going to have a strong second year.
I think he's less MLB ready than the other guys that we talked about.
Yeah, I feel like Julio and Rutschman were probably more ready in the process.
Yeah, definitely.
I did give Julio the edge just because he has that more protected lineup, and I feel like that could help him out in the long run.
That, and I think with your pick too, is that he's got a better situation going than Rutschman in Baltimore. So yep. Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. Who'd you have for NL?
The curveball. Ready?
Oh God.
My NL Rookie of the Year is Hunter Green.
Wow, damn.
From the Cincinnati Reds. This guy throws absolute gas.
Yeah.
This dude throws a consistent 101 mile an hour fastball. He has a good slider as well. He's reached 104, and he's a starting pitcher. I mean, if we're hitting those kind of numbers as a starting pitcher, that's ridiculous. 21 games in 2021, 3.30 ERA, 139 Ks, and just over 100 innings pitched. I think he's going to have a strong rookie season for the Reds.
I feel like he's going to be one of those guys where he might need less than 5 innings to work himself out. But the thing about him is how long can he last a game? Because that's the main problem with him. He's got gas, but he doesn't last more than like 5 to 6 innings. That's the only main problem with him.
Yeah, I could definitely see him, transitioning into like more reliever role in the future.
Right.
Maybe something like Chris Sale. Like Chris Sale came in, or no. Chris Sale's a starter now. I was trying to think
Houck?
who was. Yeah, Tanner Houck. That's actually a
Yeah.
really good example. He went in from a starting pitcher, and now he's honestly a fantastic reliever. He's on Boston, right?
Yeah. He's
Yeah.
literally Chris Sale, except he's a righty, which is
Yeah.
crazy to think
No.
about.
Yeah.
But
But yeah, that's why I went with Hunter Green. I didn't really see who else I could have picked over there. I just think that gas is going to be overpowering for some guys.
I'm going to go with the former number 2 overall pick in Joey Bart for the San Francisco Giants. Yeah, Joey Bart. I mean, you got to think about it too. He's in a situation, or was in a situation last year where he came in the September call up. He learned a lot from a guy like Buster Posey, who in fact was comeback player of the year last year. And I think with Posey, he's going to have a lot more, the starter catcher job is going to be his. And I think he's going to have a lot of reps. The only thing that's going to hold him back is probably the injuries. But I feel like I don't think it's going to be a real concern. I think it's just a couple of years of just being injury prone. So I feel like he's going to have a lot of opportunities to show himself who he is and the reason why he was the number 2 overall pick. He is a little bit of an above average catcher with his name in his game is popping the swing, which is what Adler is, but he's a lot more well rounded. But I feel like Bart is going to have an immediate impact for the team, and I feel like the influence of Buster Posey is going to make an impact of how he does in this rookie year.
Was Bart on the MLB roster when Posey was starting last year?
Yes, he was in the September call ups.
Okay.
Yeah, and he was like backing up to him too for a little bit, but it wasn't enough to impact his rookie odds, if that makes sense, because it's kind of different how rookies, what qualifies for a rookie, if that makes sense.
Of course.
Yeah. So
no, I definitely like that pick. Joey Bart was honestly my number 2 for that. He's probably the best hitting of the NL Rookie of the Year prospects. There were some other guys on the list that I kind of wanted to go like starting pitcher wise, and they're both on the Marlins.
Yes.
Edward Cabrera as well as Sixto Sanchez are both formidable forces, both nasty sinker ballers with high velocity. They're pretty much the same mold, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I know Sixto struggled with some injuries. I don't know too much on Edward Cabrera, but yeah, I could definitely accept Joey Bart for the NL Rookie of the Year for sure.
Definitely, yeah. And those are the 2 other guys I thought about too, and the guy you're talking about as well. Actually, not really, because I kind of value more on Sixto and Edward more than Green. But I just feel like Bart, he's in a very valuable position in catcher to the point where it's kind of hard to deny that. While there's so many other pitchers that you can kind of contrast and compare to one another, where catcher is like the most valuable, if that makes sense, especially when it comes to hitting.
Yeah. I definitely agree with you there.
Yeah.
So that is the Rookie of the Year selections. Let's move on to the Comeback Player of the Year for the AL. I have none other than the first Yankee of mine on this list, DJ LeMahieu, as my AL Comeback of the Year, Comeback Player of the Year. Where do I begin with DJ? 2020, the COVID season, he hit 364. 364. That's unbelievable. I know it was a shortened season, but that's unbelievable. Last year slumped down to almost 100 points less than 268.
Yeah.
Just a 349 OBP. He wasn't himself. He played through an undisclosed sports hernia all season long, which was crazy. And honestly, it made a lot of sense. No one just drops 100 points in batting average, especially not someone like DJ LeMahieu. Right. But he did have surgery in October. He hit a bomb the other day in spring training. I'm super excited for the comeback for DJ LeMahieu. Who do you have as your AL Comeback Player of the Year?
Well, before I get to my discussion, I do like your pick, though, just for the sole fact that it is DJ LeMahieu. I feel like he's going to come back to that 300 hitter spot, and I feel like and not only that, the injuries help, but like he even admitted himself that the sticky stuff situation really plagued his game. So I just want to add that towards that. But
absolutely,
you're going to hate me for this, but I picked Alex Bregman.
Alex Bregman.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a fair pick.
This is I figure you might hate this pick because Yankee bias, but like the thing is with him is that last couple of years I think it has to do with the fact that like pressure from the the scandal itself. As you saw, like a lot of his like not only just his offensive production but his defensive production has dropped down to the point where it doesn't even look like the former MVP candidate. He didn't win MVP, right? In 2019, it was like someone else.
I think he placed like second or third for that actually that year.
Yeah, and he had like 45 home runs, and then after that, COVID season happens. He gets only 5 home runs, and then 2021 season, he only played 90 games with just like 12 home runs. And I feel like a lot of times too, and we discussed this in earlier podcasts as well, is that the COVID season really affected a lot of these players, and one of them, especially with Bregman and Bellinger and Yelich. I feel like Bregman is going to have a massive bounce back year where he's going to have efficient hitting with extra base hits. He's going to draw a lot more walks than he used to. Maybe not as he's used to it as as in 2019 due to the scandal, but I think it's going to be pretty close to it.
I could definitely see that happening for Bregman. There is that question mark there just because of the cheating scandal, but honestly, I'm so far past it at this point. Like, I'm not someone that's going to hold on to that grudge forever. Like, oh my God, the Yankees should have won that year, because we don't know. It's all in the whole season's just an asterisk.
Yeah, we'll never know.
Bregman was a pure hitter. He's a pure prospect. In my eyes, he was the only pure hitter on that whole Astros team when that all happened.
Yeah.
And his play just was a level above everyone else during that time. So I could definitely see him, coming back and having a good season. I'm not mad at your pick at all, like you thought it would be.
Wow, I'm actually kind of surprised. I think him and Alvarez are going to be the reason why the Astros stay on top of the AL West. I really do feel like that too.
No, that's definitely a fair pick. The AL is in a weird spot right now compared to the NL, I feel like.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would definitely agree. Like the Astros, it's weird. Like they could either finish like 4th place in the AL West or they could finish 1st place in the AL West. I really don't know what to think of them.
Definitely. Yeah. I think it's just that I think if you're going to see a guy like Bregman come back and maybe Jose Altuve too, I know we're like, going a little bit off topic, but if those guys come back to what they were, I think we got a really good shot at seeing the Astros, going on top again, and then even going as far as the ALCS.
100%.
Yeah.
Moving on to the National League Comeback Player of the Year. We might have the same guy for this. I'm going with Christian Yelich.
Oh, nope.
We don't.
Oh.
So obviously you guys know Christian Yelich, former MVP. From 2018 to 2019, he averaged 327, 80 home runs, and 207 RBIs, along with 52 stolen bases in that time span. One of the purest hitters in baseball. The past couple of years, he struggled with some lower back stuff on and off. And it forced him to develop this ground ball swing that I was looking into. I don't know. I feel like Yelich is just one of those guys, again, like we were just saying, was affected by the COVID season. I could definitely see him bounce back, especially after adding a couple guys. They went out and got Hunter Renfroe. I wouldn't say, Andrew McCutchen is a huge signing, but they went out and got him as well. I don't know, man. I'm really high on Christian Yelich, and I want to see him do well. He's my comeback player of the year. Who's yours?
Ronald Acuna coming back.
Ronald Acuna. That was my number 2.
Yeah, him. It was gonna be him or Yelich or Bellinger. I think you can't go wrong with any of 3 of these guys. I'll be honest.
Really, you can't.
Yeah. So Acuna came off of a torn ACL year. He was on pace to win the NL MVP too before he went down. I think the reason why I picked him was because they just lost a guy like Freddie to the Dodgers, and I think we all know what Acuna brings to the table. He's legitimately a 5-star player, and he's the guy that you want to build around for many years to come. While guys like Yelich and Bellinger, they're 3, maybe 4, 4 tool players. But Acuna is just such a unicorn for what he does. It's kind of hard to accept that he's going to have a potential MVP year. I think he's going to bounce out just fine. I just think it's kind of hard to deny that the void he's going to fill back up with the Braves of losing Freddie. And it's kind of weird to say because they were teammates at one. They were teammates, but I think his impact is going to be so important for the team and them having success moving forward. that I just see him be comeback player of the year, honestly, and maybe even MVP as well.
I mean, you hit the nail on the coffin there. I mean, Ronald Acuna Jr. is definitely one of the best young stars in baseball, 100%. He's a five-tool player, like you just said.
Mm-hmm.
I think the reason why I went Yelich over him was because Acuna is still recovering from injury. He's not expected to return until May. So I think with the lockout, with the injury, like, I don't know. I just feel like he's going to get off to a slow start. Yeah. I mean, I want to see him do well. And honestly, that comeback player of the year is still like definitely in the question.
What qualifies for it?
Oh, exactly. Yeah. I just think it's going to take him a couple months to get going. I just think that by then, Christian Yelich just might have been too far ahead or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, again, like you said, with Bellinger, Yelich, and Acuna, I think it's definitely going to be one of those three guys at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's a very even race between the three. While the AL is more like you can really go anywhere with the AL, to be honest with you. Like we said, our picks were very different from one another.
Yeah, so far we haven't had any of the same picks. I'm interested to see where that goes moving forward.
Right.
Moving on to reliever of the year, my AL pick. I don't think you're going to like it too much.
Okay, shoot.
My AL reliever of the year pick is Raisel Iglesias.
Really? Wow.
Yes, from the LA Angels.
Wow.
One reason, he got depth.
Yeah.
He has been the only person in that Angels bullpen since he's been there. But now they went out, they got Ryan Tepera, they got Aaron Loup, they got Archie Bradley. I feel like that's going to help out a ton. I mean, last year he didn't have a bad year. He had a 2.57 ERA, 53 holds, 34 saves, 103 strikeouts. Like, that's a really good year. He's got a good sinker and slider combination. I think it's definitely going to come between him and I think I know who you picked if it wasn't Raisel Iglesias. And I'm not going to spoil it for the people because you're going to tell them right now.
You sure about that? You're going to be really shocked, I think. You ready for this?
Yeah.
The lasagna.
Johnny Lasagna.
I know you're going to be shocked about that. This guy.
I was talking about Liam Hendrix.
Yeah, Liam Hendrix was definitely on top of that too. I was like, I don't know. But I feel like Jonathan Loaiza, honestly, he would be my pick for most improved player. Actually, he should have been last year. But man, dude, he had such a baller year. Like, there's really no way to describe it. He had his sinker, his two-seamer, his fastball was at the best of it in his entire career. He's only going to get better. I feel like him just getting better in that trajectory scale is going to make him maybe even close to that. But I really feel confident with him being the 8th and 9th hole guy. He might even be the Yankees closer by the end of the year. I'm not going to lie to you.
Personally, I don't think so, just because I think he is that setup man.
Yeah, I know. I definitely see it.
Plus, like Chapman, I just don't ever see Aroldis Chapman being an 8th inning guy.
I don't know, man. The way he's been like declining these past like couple of years, we might have to think, the Yankees might have to, talk about him being the 8th man setup, which I don't want him to be that. I still believe in Chapman, but like Loaiza, you cannot deny his potential of being the closer.
No, absolutely. I mean, just the improvement from 2019 to 2021 was crazy in itself, but
yeah,
his command of his heat to that off speed, that curveball is ridiculous.
Yeah.
The only thing I worry about is maybe like his shoulder, right. In the future, because he's not that big of a guy. He's only like 5'10" or something like that, and he's throwing that hard.
Yeah, he's pretty small. Yeah.
For throwing that hard, that definitely nerves me a little bit. But no, I respect the pick for sure. I think he could definitely be rookie of the year.
Yeah. I'll put it this way: the stats I'm gonna like pull up right now.
Yeah,
it's pretty ridiculous. He went from this is 2020 to 2021. His FIP went from 4.41 to 258. Massive difference. WHIP went from a 1.2 to a 1 solid. He gave up less hits. He gave up way less home runs. He actually went from 1.2 home runs per 9 to just 0.4. And
oh my God.
Yeah, so the problem with him in the past was he gave up a lot of hits and all that. And his command was pretty off, but his command was so on point last year. It was ridiculous. And he added more break to his his pitches as well. The sinker is a lot more efficient. His two-seamer is probably the nastiest two-seamer I've seen in quite a long time. I'm not even kidding you.
Yeah. No, he's definitely a really good pitcher. And honestly, you might have persuaded me to pick him over Raisel Iglesias. I didn't want to go Loizaga just because it might be that Yankee bias, but
no, it's not the Yankee bias, dude. It's kind
coming
of just
from a baseball fan over a Yankee fan, which is what we are.
No, yeah.
Loizaga is going to be a really good reliever in this league.
He is.
He really is.
He's gonna get a big payday too once his arbitration's off. It's gonna be suck to see him go, but it's undeniable. Yeah. All right.
Speaking of great relievers in this league, why don't we talk about the best reliever in this league? The NL reliever of the year for the 4th time.
Yeah.
Josh Hader.
Yeah.
And our
there's
first time.
There's really no debate about that.
Dude. Yeah. He's won reliever of the year 2018, 2019, 2021, and he's going to win it in 2022. His teammate, Devin Williams, won it in 2020. Dude, last year, he had a 1.23 ERA.
Might go lower, too.
He might go lower.
Yeah, he might
you see the first sub-1 ERA?
I think Gagne did it back in the 90s, I'm pretty sure. He had like a below 1 ERA. That's how he won that MVP, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Hader, his fastball to slider variant is amazing. Mm-hmm. Strikes out so many guys. I mean, he's a modern day Randy Johnson.
Yeah, he really is. Except he's a relief pitcher, but I just like seeing how he throws the ball too. Like, I don't know, like the way he throws the ball, this like the kind of like sidearm to overhit. It's like perfect, dude. That's why that slider is so freaking gross, dude. It's because of how he releases the ball and how he, winds up before the pitch. It's amazing.
Yeah, there's really not too much more that we can say. Josh Hader is definitely the best reliever in all of baseball. There's no way he goes, downhill from here. It's just not going to happen.
He's Josh Hader. That's really all you can say about it. Really, no, that's like the best way you can describe Josh Hader. He's freaking Josh Hader.
He's freaking Josh Hader. Haterade.
Haterade, yeah, dude. Yeah.
So moving on to the Hank Aaron Award. This is the best hitter in both leagues. That's how this award is given out. He won it last year. He's one of the best hitters I've ever seen since I've been a baseball fan. Vladimir Guerrero for the Blue Jays. He's absolutely ridiculous. You can't really vote against this guy. Did you pick Vlad too?
This is for the most home runs, right? If I remember correctly, like Hank Aaron Award.
No. That's just home run king. This is just best hitter flat.
Okay, yeah. No, I definitely have to say Vladdy if that's the case then. Yeah, because the way he's only going to get better. I mean, it's kind of crazy to think about, like at the age he's at right now and how he's hitting the ball. He's only going to get better, dude. Like he's only, 21, 22 years old?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the guy gets on base. He draws a lot of walks. He's like one of the more efficient hitters in this league. I cannot see this dude not winning it.
No. I mean, I compare him to Frank Thomas a lot when I talk about Vlad. Most people compare him to his father, but I don't, just because they're different positions. But no, he quite literally is Frank Thomas. I mean, when you're hitting over 300, you're also hitting over 40 home runs, 111 RBIs. He had 48 home runs, hit 311 last year. And on top of that, had 188 hits, almost broke 200 hits as a slugging first baseman, 601, by the way.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. He's only to get better, too, which is even the crazier part.
Yeah. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., we don't need to discuss too much more on that. You guys know how good he's going to be.
Yeah.
This one's going to surprise you. I have a sleeper pick coming in for the Hank Aaron Award for the NL. And that is shortstop.
Oh, no.
From the Dodgers, Trey Turner. Yeah.
Really?
That's my Hank Aaron pick. He's one of the best up-and-coming stars. He has an incredible power and speed mix, especially last year. He went up to 28 home runs last year.
Yeah.
He also hit, 328 in 2021, 32 stolen bases as well. I'm picking Trey Turner because of that increase in home runs. If that didn't go up, he's not part of this discussion. No. But if we're also adding Freddie Freeman to that lineup, imagine what Trey Turner is going to do a full season in the white and blue. What do you think?
and JT and freaking Muncy and Mookie Betts. I mean, the list goes on with that Dodgers team, man. Like that team is absolutely stacked to the brim.
Any one of those guys could win this award, to be honest with you.
I know. I know. That's what's so crazy about this reward for the NL is that, um, like you can really go anywhere with this. Like it could be Mookie, it could be Freddie Freeman. That's like top out of the 5 candidates that's going to win this award. 3 of them are Dodgers. That's how stacked this team is, dude. But my pick is Juan Soto. I don't think I really don't.
Yeah.
This is it's a safe pick, but it's a pick that I feel like it's the right choice just because he's the most efficient hitter. And I mean efficient. I mean, we talk about Vladdy, but Juan Soto, dude, he was ridiculous.
Juan Soto is one of the best young hitters in all of baseball for sure.
Yeah, he's got great discipline. He's got such a miraculous swing. It's a clean and smooth swing.
So smooth.
Yeah, and the fact that the amount of extra base hits he produces too. I cannot see him not win the Hank Aaron Award for the NL. I know we just talked about like Freeman and all that. Like I just said like 3 of the top 5 guys are Dodgers, but one of them's gonna be a national, and it's gonna be Juan Soto. I really think he has such a great knack of a hitter. Like there's really no way to describe it. I can't really see this dude throughout his career not being a slump. Like, you know what I mean? Like DJ was last year.
He's definitely a natural talent when we talk about natural talents.
Yeah.
He's definitely the new mold when it comes to being a proficient hitter in the league.
Yeah. Going off topic here, have you ever seen his like his rise to the MLB, like from AA to AAA to like Major League?
No.
It's ridiculous. He was hitting like 500 solid. Can you imagine that? Like hitting 500 solid and then going to the majors like it's nothing. It's like
that's like some road to the show BS right there.
It really is. I know. So freaking ridiculous.
Going back to my pick, Trey Turner. I know it probably surprised a lot of you.
Yeah.
But I think, because extra base hits are probably the biggest when it comes to this discussion.
Definitely.
Well, I think with Trey Turner's increase in home runs, think about how many more extra base hits he's going to have because of how fast he is. Think of how many short singles turn into doubles. Think about how many doubles turn into triples. I really feel like Trey Turner could lead the league in extra base hits because of his power and speed combo. And that's why I think he can win this award.
If it wasn't for what's his face from the Yankees, I would say he's like the fastest player in the league.
Oh,
Tim Castro? Yeah. He's definitely the top. He's got to be in the discussion of the top 3 fastest player in the league without a doubt.
100%.
And like I said, like his singles can turn into doubles. And that's the thing with Trey Turner. If you need him to, like if you need to get runner on, you can definitely do it. And I feel like his potential hasn't been tapped yet. Like it took a little bit in Washington, but then like before he got traded, you definitely saw that he's still growing his game and all that as a hitter. Like defensively, I think he's tapped. I don't know if you think that as well, but like as a hitter, he still has some room to grow. And I think with him, it's just like I think he might be a Hank Aaron Award winner in the future. Not this year though, because I feel like he still has a tap that's a potential. So
I'm surprised you're actually on board with me.
Yeah,
that was a sleeper pick.
Yeah, it was a sleeper pick, but like that, I can see it happening in the future. I just can't see it this year. I feel like he still has some room, but then again, once he molds in that Dodger core, like their coaching, their players, they're ridiculous. Like it's just like the way they develop players is second to none, really, if you really think about it. They've been good since 2014, 2015, I think, around there. And it's all they've been developing. It's just great hitters, great MVPs. I mean, look at Bellinger. I think he's going to have a comeback player type of season as well. Maybe not as good as like the other guys we mentioned, but Trey Turner, I really think that he will win it, but it's not going to be this year. Maybe my next year's pick.
Well, I'm just glad you're on board with it. I thought you were going to laugh at me for picking Trey Turner, to be honest.
No.
Honestly, guys, in the comments, let me know what you think about that pick. If you think that that's realistic or if we're clowning.
Happen.
That moves us to Cy Young, AL and NL. They're guys that have done it before on my list personally. My AL pick is none other than Garrett Cole on the Yankees. This year, guys, he is heated. He is pissed off with how bad the Yankees are, with how bad our offseason was. And Cole plays amazing when he's pissed off. Obviously, he's one of the best pitchers in the league. Incredible command. 2021, his ERA was up, but he also gave up a lot more home runs than he normally does. But still 243 strikeouts. That's just on another level when you're talking about, elite level of play. But that's my AL Cy Young. I'm curious to see who you picked, Andrew.
It was between two players. It was Garrett Cole and this one guy I'm about to talk about. Before I talk about this particular person, Garrett, you're right. He plays better when he's pissed. Let's be honest here. And
he is very pissed right now.
Yeah, he's very fuming. He's never happy. I feel like he's never happy. Like when he's in
he always looks miserable.
Really miserable. Yeah, you know how he sounds. But man, like you said, the only thing that's really knocking him back is like the amount of home runs he gives up. But honestly, dude, I can take that all day. Because if you really think about it, a lot of the home runs he gives up, they're solo home runs. Look up the stats. If you look at his like home runs given up, I know he leads like I think he was like third in the league in home runs given up by a pitcher, if I'm not mistaken. But a lot of those home runs were solo shots, and that's the main thing with Cole. Like I feel like a lot of people give him a lot of crap for that, but honestly, I'll take giving up solo shots for striking out like 12, 13 guys per game.
That's a good point.
That and his changeup was on a whole new level this year. Like, have you seen his
Yeah,
the changeup?
I agree.
Yeah, changeup was 90 miles per hour. But I'm gonna go into another guy that has a nasty changeup in Lucas Giolito. He missed out on the Cy Young last year, and I said it last year that he should have won Cy Young. So it's not just Garrett that has a chip on his shoulder; it's also Giolito too. So I think it's going to be a pretty tight race between those two. Discussions of last year of how well he pitched. He had a no hitter last year and the year before, which is even crazy.
Yeah,
I just think Giolito, it's just kind of undeniable with him because his repertoire is nasty too. Along with I think both of them have nasty repertoires, but I really think that Giolito, just because he doesn't give up a lot of home runs, I think he's gonna win it, man. Really do.
I could definitely see that. He was in my top three. I think my number two. Who did I have for number two? I can't remember. Giolito was definitely on that list though. But yeah, like you said, that changeup is ridiculous for Giolito. It's better than Cole's. He honestly, I'd be willing to say that that's a top 5 changeup in baseball from Giolito. He gets a lot of guys with that pitch.
Oh, it's nasty, especially with like the fastball changeup combo. Like with Cole's, it's a 90-mile-per-hour changeup, but honestly, just because you have velocity on your changeup doesn't mean it's the best.
Yeah,
which is what I mean. So Giolito has like the nastiest changeup.
Yeah,
like, absolutely. I honestly think it's the best of all starters in the league.
I mean, it kind of reminds me of like Hoffman's changeup, like it's blooping. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like it just hangs, right?
Yeah,
it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't remind me of Pedro's necessarily, but it reminds me more of like his. Yeah,
definitely. Like Hoffman's.
Definitely, yeah.
No, I could definitely see that. And there's always gonna be haters like, well, his performance dropped off after the sticky stuff happened. But it's like every pitcher did. You know what I mean? Like every pitcher was using that stuff.
Let's be honest here. 90% of pitchers used it.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Let's be honest. Yeah.
There's no hiding. Pitchers use that. People
there's
have always
no
been putting shit on the ball. It's not new.
I mean, like last year and in 2020, we've seen like all-time lows for hitters. So I don't even want to hear it. So now we have an even playing field with the hitters and the pitchers. We're gonna see how it's gonna look.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited for this year.
It is. It's a really anticipated year for baseball in general. Really. Yeah.
So that brings us to the NL for the Cy Young. There's one or two guys that it could be, and I think you picked one of them.
I feel like I know who you picked. All right, you go ahead.
I picked Max Scherzer.
Come on. Really?
Did you?
No. Jacob Degrom.
You picked Degrom?
Yeah.
I picked Max Scherzer because he looks ready right now.
I mean, he's always pissed, so.
Well, yes, he's always pissed. Like, and I went the same thing with Cole. Like, they both play better when they're pissed. But Scherzer has been one of the most involved players with this whole lockout thing, so he's especially pissed. Scherzer wants to go out, get his bonuses. He wants to win another World Series. Or no, he doesn't have a World Series, right? No, he
No,
won
he
with,
does.
with the
Yeah,
Nationals. With the Nationals.
yeah, within 2019. Yeah.
Right. No, he wants to go out and win this with the Mets too. Do they have a legitimate chance? They're the Mets, so probably not. But Scherzer is going to be the Cy Young, in my personal opinion. Last year, 2.46 ERA, 2.36 strikeouts, just on another level, as always. But you can't be mad with your pick, Jacob Degrom.
I mean, what more do you have to say about Degrom other than he's freaking Jacob Degrom? It's just like with Josh Hader, you know what I mean? Like the dude had, let's be honest here, the best. If it wasn't for him going down last year, I'll be honest with you, he might have won MVP last year. NL MVP, not NL Cy Young, NL MVP. I mean, what is there to say? Nastiest slider, nastiest fastball, nastiest repertoire in the game, man. Like, I don't know if his velocity is going to go down because he is 33 years old. But then again, you're talking about a guy like Max Scherzer who still has his velocity at what, 40, 39 years old?
Yeah.
So I don't have any doubts that DeGrom declining anytime soon. I think he's going to play well until the day he retires.
I think so too. I mean, he's a Nolan Ryan. You know,
Yeah.
he's a modern day Nolan Ryan.
Yeah.
I can't be mad at your pick. Honestly, I might even switch mine to Jacob Degrom because you're right. But in my opinion, it's like Trout. It's like they're Jacob Degrom. They're Mike Trout. Like, yes, they're Cy Young and MVP because that's the mold that that's the bar that's been set. It's like if you're an MVP, you're Mike Trout. If you're a Cy Young, you're Jacob Degrom. So that's why it made it harder for me to pick that. I wanted to pick Scherzer. Yeah, I mean, Jacob Degrom, he's the best pitcher in all of baseball. And now he has help. You know, he's got Scherzer and Bassett. And who else do they have in that rotation? Carlos Carrasco is still there.
Carrasco, yeah. Cookie Carrasco, yeah.
Yeah. So Jacob Degrom, I definitely agree with you. You know, every head must bow, every tongue must confess, as the good old Mike Tyson said.
Yeah. I like Scherzer, don't get me wrong. Like, I think he's a not clear number 2, but I think he's a pretty close number 2 for the Cy Young winner. But like DeGrom,
it's crazy that they have the number 1 and number 2 on the same rotation. It's like
get this though. The past 5 years of the NL Cy Young, it's been nothing but Scherzer and DeGrom. The Mets have 2 of the last Cy Young winners for the past 5 years.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, like if they don't make it to the playoffs, there's something wrong. I think that the team is cursed. Let's be honest here.
I mean, arguably, the 2 best pitchers of the last decade, we could say, are on the same team. Like, this is quite literally like the equivalent dialed to 11 of like the 90s Braves teams with Smoltz, Maddox, and Glavine.
I was gonna say like the 2004 Astros when they had Pettit and what's that?
Oswalt,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not as good as what you said about the Braves, but it's pretty close to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So speaking of most valuable at their position, MVP is in discussion. What do you got for AL?
My MVP is my Hank Aaron, bro. Vlad Guerrero. You cannot vote against this guy. He got snubbed last year. Yes, I understand hitting and pitching is very difficult, but Vlad's stats last year were ridiculous and they went unnoticed, I feel like, compared to Ohtani, because everyone's like, Ohtani. Ohtani hit 250. Yes, he hit 50 home runs. He hit 250, though. I know it's impressive to pitch to. Don't give me that face. Listen, I'm a Yankee fan, and I am all over Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He's got to win it, dude. He has to win it.
You're going to be surprised about my pick. Because it wasn't Ohtani. It wasn't Guerrero.
Trout.
No.
Oh, no.
Aaron
Judge.
Yeah.
Coming off the bag, question mark?
Yes, that's the motivation. When you get the bag, you got something to prove. I mean, I hate to say this, but like,
let's just move this Yankee bias
over. Yeah. Maybe get rid of my Garrett Cole jersey behind you, or get rid of those little pennants and those Funko Pops you got behind you. But no, dude.
I could definitely see it, man. I really could.
Yeah, but like I don't know, man. He's got a motive. Like it's not just like money ambitions. It's more like what this year's going to bring for the Yankees, and I think he's going to turn up to a whole new level. Aaron Judge. Well, I'll be honest with you. Like in 2020 Judge was phenomenal. Was his best year. Nobody talks about 2020 Judge. We all talk about the 2017 Judge, but nobody talks about the 2020 Judge. Nobody talks about the 2021 Judge.
Well, last year he hit like 290 something, didn't he?
Yeah.
Or 289.
Yeah, and he was close to 300, and he was hitting very efficiently too. I will say this though: if Judge wasn't hurt like midway through the 2020 season, he would have been MVP. This is going to be the year where he does win MVP. I feel like he's got a chip on his shoulder. I feel like with him,
he's pissed.
Yeah, this is like kind of like the main motive of some of these guys, like Cole, Scherzer. What else have we're talking about? Like a lot of these guys, they got a chip on their shoulder, man. And I feel like Aaron Judge has that chip on his shoulder because he's got many factors behind him to the point where it's like it's kind of undeniable. Like I would like to see Trump win it. I would like to see Guerrero winning it, but I feel like Judge, he's gonna go out of his mind this year. It's not just like we're going to the baseball stats sort of like perspective. It's more or less just like what's the reason behind it, logically speaking.
So going off your MVP pick, that must mean that you're thinking over 300 then.
I think he hits 305. He gets walked a lot because I feel like he's going to get a lot from the coaching change. He's going to get help from Josh Donaldson because you got to remember too, Josh Donaldson, he's a veteran. He's pretty good at one thing. He's good at drawing walks, and I think he's going to teach Judge about how to draw walks properly instead of how Thames did it when he was a hitting coach for the Yankees. And I think we're going to see a lot of. It's not just Judge too. I think we're going to see a lot of boosts from hitting standpoint from everyone on the team, DJ, Stan, everyone. I know we're I'm talking about as a Yankee fan, but it's kind of the truth if you really think about it. It's coming from a Yankees fan perspective, but it's also coming from the fact that there's a lot of reasons behind why Judge is going to win MVP.
I mean, I'm not mad at your pick, obviously, because I'm a Yankee fan. No. It definitely caught me off guard. I mean, Judge has been a top 5 MVP candidate the past few years now, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's pretty much always in the running. He always puts up a good stat line. It comes down to the health for me.
Yeah,
it really
that's
does.
The thing.
If Judge can play a full season, I really do think he can win MVP. And last year he was fairly healthy. I think he only played like 130 games. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, yeah, he missed like a fourth of his games last year.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. Just with Vlad, like the team around him is getting older, more experienced.
Yes.
They're overall just getting better. They added Matt Chapman on the other side of the infield. The pitching is better. There's just no sign of regression with Vladimir Guerrero at all. I can't not say Vlad Jr. is going to win MVP next year, especially because I was legitimately pissed that Ohtani won it. I know everyone was like excited about Ohtani. I like Ohtani, but I'm a stats guy. I really am. I know it's hard to hit and pitch. It is.
No.
But we were talking about hitting at an elite level, though. Yes, he hit 50 home runs, but he also only hit 250. When is a 250 hitter ever won an MVP?
Right.
I mean, what are we doing here?
I definitely agree with that. I mean, like Vladdy, when it comes to efficiency, he's definitely a top 3 in that regard. He's only going to get better, obviously. Like we were talking about that earlier. Like his roof, it hasn't been hit yet. Like I wouldn't say not even close, but like pretty close to it. Like I say, he's like right now 75% of the point that he's going to be when he's peaked.
Oh, I mean, the guy freaking hit how many home runs last year?
40. No, not 40.
48.
50,
yeah.
48.
Yeah, 48 home runs, 311 average. Like when you're doing both of those things, that's more impressive than pitching and hitting, in my opinion.
Well, I don't know. I think Ohtani was just like something special we'd never seen before, and that's what.
Right. I mean,
it's kind of like what Lamar Jackson, how he won his MVP. You know what I mean? Like it was just like out of nowhere.
That's a really good comparison, actually.
Yeah. So it's like you have to give it to him because during the time it's like, wow, we did not expect that at all.
All right. I definitely see that now. A lot of people are thinking Ohtani's going to repeat. I think he is favorited.
I don't think he's a repeat. I think he's I honestly see a decline in his pitching because I feel like pitchers are going to start or hitters are starting to going to figure it out. And I feel like he's going to be more prone of like getting into a slump too.
By the way, we don't hope that's the case. We hope that Ohtani plays out of his mind. I think he set that bar. He set that standard, right?
Yeah.
So you're hitting and pitching. What's the next step? The next step is you get your ERA sub 3. Maybe you bring your average up to 270. Then, yeah, I'd give Ohtani MVP.
Definitely.
Last year, I think his ERA was just under 4, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
Like his ERA wasn't even that great. He wasn't a top pitcher in baseball. He did pitch, and he pitched well. But
yeah,
no, I do like your pick in Aaron Judge.
Definitely, yeah. All right. Well, speaking of MVPs, let's talk about the last topic we're going to talk about, which is going to be the World Series winner. There's many ways where you can go with this.
We missed the NL MVP.
Oh, the NL. We were talking so much about the AL. Holy crap!
It's a big award, dude. I mean, it's the best player.
Yeah, man, we were going on for too long about that. All right, who's your pick for NL MVP?
Cut it to the chase. One of the best hitters in the NL, Juan Soto.
Yep, Juan Soto. Not even
yeah, Juan Soto too.
Yeah, efficiency wise, I was just talking about that earlier. He's just such an efficient hitter to the point where his WAR is top 3 in the league, and from AL and NL standpoint, was there more to say about Juan Soto than he's the most efficient hitter outside of maybe Vladdy Guerrero? You know what I mean? Yep. So, yeah.
No, and I have second is Fernando Tatis, who won the award last year. The only thing with Juan Soto is that the team around him is not great. So it's hard to give an MVP to a guy who doesn't have a great team. Like if your team isn't performing, how are you winning an MVP? I know it does happen. Like last year, Ohtani, they didn't even make the playoffs and Ohtani won the MVP. That's a different scenario.
Yeah.
But if the Padres go on to win a bunch of games in the playoffs, win the World Series, which could happen. They're a really solid team, let's be honest.
Yeah.
And Tatis plays out of his mind again. I could see Tatis getting back-to-back MVPs for sure.
I could see that as well, but I just think that Tatis, he's definitely I love Tatis. He's definitely a 5-tool guy, but I feel like he's more. I think what Soto has is he has efficiency and he's less prone of being in a slump than Tatis is. We've seen Tatis last year where he had a ridiculous run in a 10-game stretch where he hit 7 to 8 home runs, right? Or something crazy like that. But then he just went absolutely flat. And I think with Juan Soto, even when he's on a slump of his own terms, he's only not that bad to the point where he's still considered as the best valuable player. While when Tatis is, on a slump, it's actually to the point where he's only hitting 220, 230.
That is very true. Honestly, I really don't think I've seen too many slumps out of Juan Soto since he's been
right. Exactly. That's what I was getting at.
He is the most consistent hitter in baseball, I think.
Yeah, way too consistent. That's why I picked him as my MVP. So,
and he's mine as well. And I mean, that's great because there probably are 5 guys in the Dodgers that have potential to win that MVP as well.
Yeah.
Let's not mention, I mean, Degrom could very well win MVP. If the Mets want to make the playoffs, Degrom could get. Has he won an MVP before? Degrom?
No.
I don't think so.
Last guy was Eric Gagne. We were talking about that, weren't we?
No, actually, Verlander won an MVP.
Verlander won MVP. That's right.
Was that the last one?
I could definitely take a look real quickly. But I feel like it's Verlander and then Gagne and then Venezuela from the Dodgers.
Yeah. It's rare, but it could happen. It's Jacob DeGrom. Let's be honest here.
Clayton Kershaw won it.
Oh, Kershaw won it. That's right.
Yeah, Kershaw won it back in 2015, I think, when he had a 1.80 ERA.
Yeah.
Man, prime Clayton Kershaw, man. He was so fun to watch. He's still fun to watch.
Oh, his curveball is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Best pitch of the 2010s, easily.
Oh, without a doubt.
So that, guys, will bring us to our last category before we wrap it up. This one isn't going to take too long. Our World Series picks. On my end of things, I have the obvious pick, which is the favorite, and I also have one and a second sleeper pick. Let's talk about the Dodgers. I'm sure that's your pick as well.
Yeah.
They're too ridiculous, man. Yeah, you lost Scherzer, you lost Seager, and you also lost Kenley Jansen, but you brought in Freddie Freeman. When you bring in the guy who helped the team win a World Series the year before that beat you, you bring him on your team, that is absolutely ridiculous. You're talking about a team without Freddie Freeman is World Series probable. And you bring this guy to the table.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. From the top to bottom, I mean, Betts, Bellinger could come back, have a great year. Chris Taylor is great. Pollock's great. Max Muncy, dude, Trey Turner.
Yeah, I know.
Justin
Trey Turner, yeah. And their
Will
bench
Smith
is still
a
pretty
catcher.
crazy, too.
Gavin Lux is going to be off the bench, and he's one of the best young guys in baseball, and he never gets playing time because their lineup is crazy.
I know. And you know what's so crazy, too? I was talking to my dad about this the other day. They could potentially be like the next 1927 Murderers Row. Like, that's not
even out of the question.
That's like, I know 1927 Murderers Row was like one of a kind, but this could be like one of a kind hitting lineup.
No, this is one of a kind. Yeah.
I mean, it is, but like the thing with this hitting lineup, bro, is just like the amount of efficiency and the amount of home runs. And top of that, Bellinger too. If he comes back, oh, dude, this
he was
team
not himself last year.
No, definitely not. But if he is, I'm just gonna say this right now: they're gonna win like 108, 109 games.
Think about Bellinger when he was good. Think about what their team looked like then versus now.
Oh, Bellinger! It was
between he won MVP, right, in 2018.
2018, then Yelich won it in 2019. Yeah.
Yeah. So 2018 Bellinger, he didn't have Betts. He didn't have Freeman.
No.
He didn't have Trey Turner. I don't think he had Muncy yet.
No.
Who was on the Dodgers?
Not that version of Muncy, because he was on the team, but it wasn't that version. Yeah.
Right. But like there wasn't many guys.
Like JT was like in his prime. Like he's still a really good player, but he's not as like he used to be. But like he's still a JT, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, like this is like this might be the closest we'll ever get in our lifetime, I think, of Murderers Row.
I think so too. I mean, the Dodgers are the obvious pick. There are some, routes you could go. Like maybe the Padres could sneak in. Maybe the Astros could sneak in. It's weird. One of my sleeper picks is the Blue Jays because of Vlad, because of how good their offense is. Plus, they added pitching. They went out and got Kikuchi, Gausman, and they went out and got Matt Chapman as well. He was the other addition that really stuck out. George Springer is back for a full season. My only thing holding them back is that they don't have any playoff experience, really. I think that really is going to hurt them if they do make the playoffs. I think they will win a World Series within the next 5 years, the Blue Jays, with how good they look. I don't think it'll be this year because I think they need to lose in the playoffs before they win in the playoffs, if that makes sense.
I think so, too. You know who my sleeper pick is you might be surprised, the Boston Red Sox.
I could see the Red Sox, too, unfortunately.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it because, like, we were talking about, like, last episode, this episode, where the Yankees are, like, in that really weird spot where they could go to the World Series, but they could be third or fourth in the AL East. So it's like, but the Red Sox, like, they were pretty good last year, and they got better this year. They got better pitching, more pitching depth. Trevor Story. I mean, people will debate whether or not to have Schwarber or Story as a replacement, but honestly, dude, like I think he fits perfectly what Beantown is kind of all about, if that makes sense. I just think, I honestly see them going to the World Series. I know that sounds really like dicey, but like honestly, I see it. But
AL is open.
Yeah, AL is open for sure. It's a wide gap, but whoever's gonna make it, it's not gonna matter. I'm sorry to say this, but like the Dodgers are just so good to the point where I can't see the Dodgers not. I'll be honest with you. It's gonna be best. It's gonna be over in 5. Whoever's gonna meet the Dodgers. And I know this is like, we were looking at years past where it's like, well, what about the Washington Nationals? Well, what about the Atlanta Braves? I mean, true, but this Dodgers team is just so good on paper and so good. Like
you can't bet against it.
No, you really freaking can't, dude. Like it's just they could be a possible dynasty too, which is even the crazier part.
I know.
They have that window in the next 2 or 3 seasons where it's like they could really win some pennants, man. And a lot of teams that are like in the win now mode, they're gonna have to, overcome this obstacle of like this Dodger team that's like absolutely stacked. Probably the most stacked team I've ever seen in my lifetime.
Oh, 100%. I mean, going back to what you were saying about the Red Sox, one thing that kind of irks me a little bit is their pitching staff. I know their pitching staff really showed up last year, and that's what sent them to the playoffs.
Yeah.
But a lot of that, like, it seems more fluky than anything. That's not even coming from a Yankees fan. That's coming from, like, it seemed like a fluke. Like, there's a lot of guys, like, you really haven't heard of. Like, Nathan Eovaldi was the ace. Like, is he going to come back and be an ace again? Like, that's a weird conversation there. Chris Sale is definitely getting older. Is he going to be back to – there's a lot of asterisks next to that Red Sox pitching staff, and it definitely worries me as a baseball fan to see that.
Yeah.
No question is their lineup ridiculous, but I think if we're talking about them versus the Blue Jays are the more well-rounded team when it comes to pitching and hitting.
All right.
But yeah, I do agree with you. If their pitching is on point like it was last year, yes, they are a really good team again, but I don't see that happening just because it seemed really fluky to me.
Can't forget about Erod. Can't remember him, man. He's a pretty good pitcher too.
No, they lost Erod.
That's right, they did. Yeah. Wow. I was just thinking about. I totally forgot about that. But I feel like they made a lot of improvements going into the bullpen. Like they grabbed Jake Dykman, and Jake Dykman.
I did see that.
He's an underrated reliever. You guys have to check him out. Like Jake Dykman, he was kind of under the radar for the A's. Like he was like pretty good for the A's for quite a long time. But I feel like once he hits that scene with the Red Sox, I think people are going to start to realize how it's like the same thing with IKF. I think people are going to start to realize how good of a player he is once he gets to a bigger market team.
Speaking of IKF.
Oh, God.
My other sleeper pick is the New York Yankees. Boo! Boo! This guy stinks. I don't care. They're friends of the show, okay? The Yankees are friends of the show. Not really. I wish. But they do have a good case to make the World Series and win it, man.
Yeah.
We've been World Series favorites since, 2017? But, this year, I just feel like people are starting to doubt the team. I think the Yankees play their best when they're doubted, man.
But how many times have we said this for, past seasons past?
Again, but here's a counter argument. How many times have we said this about the Dodgers?
That is true.
The thing is you never really know about World Series until it happens. The Nationals won the World Series in 2019. Nothing is off the table at this point.
How many times have we said the Angels will make it to the playoffs? It's been 7 to 8 years, man. We're still waiting. We're still waiting.
Got to be optimistic. Anything can happen. I just think so many signs point to Lauderdale here. Going to the Yankees, though, pitching staff looks a lot better. I mean, we really didn't go out and get too much pitching, but it does look a lot better. You got guys coming back from injury. Think about small guys like Michael King is coming back after his injury. That could really help out the bullpen. Luis Severino is the bigger one. He's coming back. He has some rough starts in spring training, but I think he'll find his way coming up. Yeah. Deivi Garcia had an amazing start in spring training. Don't forget about him. Clark Schmidt also did well in spring training.
Yeah.
A lot of these younger pitchers, if the Yankees pitching staff is on point, they have a good shot. And the depth of this lineup is the deepest it's been in a long time, which is perfect for our injury proneness. If you're able to rest guys periodically, that'll help so much with this team. I just, it has to be. It's this year or not for a long time, in my opinion. Has to be.
Is the depth better than 2019 though? That 2019.
I really think so.
Really? Oh, dude,
I really think so.
Dude, that 2019 team with Talkman and Maven and whoever else. I don't know, man. You might be Mike Ford. I don't know. You might be grasping the straw with that statement. That team was ridiculous. Depth wise, probably the most craziest team I've ever seen in my lifetime, besides the 2009 Yankees. But here's the thing, man. The only way that's going to convince me that the Yankees will go to the World Series and win it is if they get a guy like Sean Manaea. They need a second arm.
Yeah.
They need a guy like someone alongside Garrett Cole, like a guy like Corey Kluber last year, who he was pretty disappointed, but I mean, besides him getting that no hitter in Texas, but like you need that number two. That's what the Mets have. That's what the Dodgers have that too. They have that number two guy to complement their pitching. Walker Buehler, Clayton Kershaw, and then you got the Mets looking at Jacob Degrom and Max Scherzer.
I mean, I do agree with you. I think it needs to come for the right price, though.
Yeah.
I think personally for the Yankees right now, having that depth off the bench is much more important than going out and getting another pitcher. I feel like we're deep at pitcher right now because Herman just went on the IL. But think about this: Cole, Severino, Debbie Garcia, Clark Schmidt. We also have Nestor Cortez, not to mention Montgomery.
Nasty Nestor.
And also Jameson Tyone. So that's 7 pitchers that could be in our rotation this year. Is it really worth it to go out and get another one? Like, especially if you have to give up like someone like, all right, let's say Gleyber's part of the trade, which he probably would be for one of those guys.
Honestly, yeah.
Think about what you're taking away. Like, I know Gleyber was rough last year, but he was not himself. And I think you can agree with me on that.
Yeah.
They changed up his swing. Even if he's half of what he was back in 2019 when he had that ridiculous year with like 38 home runs or whatever.
Yeah.
But we need that depth on this team. We need to move guys throughout the lineup to be, anything. And I think having that depth is going to speak way louder than going out and getting someone like Manaea.
No, definitely. I mean, it's just that's the only way that's going to convince me otherwise for the Yankees to go to the World Series is you get a guy like Sean Manaea. You get a guy like Shane Bieber. Hey, I'm just saying, Shane Bieber and Garrett Cole.
No shot.
I'm just saying, like, can you imagine Shane Bieber and Garrett?
I mean, the Guardians probably are selling right now.
Not probably, definitely selling. They should be selling. Actually, they should get rid of Jose Ramirez and Shane Bieber.
To the Yankees. If we get Jose Ramirez, though, they could have Torres. If we get Jose Ramirez,
yeah, you could have him at that point. Okay. Yeah, we'll wait till Volpe comes up, man. Which, by the way, Volpe looks really good in spring training.
He does too.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, guys, we went through all of our picks. We've yapped for long enough. This went a little bit over time, but that's okay.
A little bit.
We were pretty close on a lot of our picks, but we both had pretty good arguments. I'm not mad at any of your picks. Are you mad at any of mine?
I respect your picks. I don't like Iglesias.
What does that mean?
I don't like Iglesias. I never. Okay, he's so weird to me. Like Iglesias reminds me of Ottavino in a way with his slider. You know what I'm talking about? Where it's like he throws that slider, and he misses it so bad. I remember this is when I don't know if you remember that game when Ohtani got hurt when he was sliding at home. Do you remember that game?
Yeah, I do remember.
Yeah, and after the inning where Ohtani, was carried off the field, Iglesias took. I know it's just one game, but it was just the perfect way to describe Iglesias, dude. And I just cannot see him win relief. Like never. I really don't think. Like I know you said that he's got a lot more help in the bullpen, but I don't think he's still their ninth inning guy. I don't think he's gonna provide. Like I don't even think that he should be their closer. I think there was times last year where he wasn't even like when he was in the game, but he wasn't as a closer. He was as a setup guy. So
I mean that's definitely a fair point. I do see where you're coming from. I mean I loved your Jonathan Loaisiga pick. Obviously,
no, and this is not coming from Yankees.
I loved your Jonathan Loaisiga pick.
Yeah, but like I really do believe that. Like I think he's just gonna get better. So that's all I want to end on that.
Yeah, guys, I think that's gonna do it for this episode of the French-Hoock Connection. We went over the MLB awards winners. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a comment down below. Let us know how we did, or if we snubbed some guys, or if we overrated some guys. Be sure to let us know. Drop a like on the video. Tell your friends. Join the club. Hit the bell notification so you know when we post the next podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Hope you guys enjoyed.
Join the squad. Peace out, guys.
Squad gang. Peace.
The squad gang.